Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. And I find myself lately kind of doing reviews on specific EDC items. Recently, I did a review on an EDC flashlight or two for Woobin and for Streamlight. Took a look at the Civivi Elementum, gave first impressions on the Autumn. But I don't normally do reviews on individual items unless they freaking really blow my skirt up and just make me have a Marilyn Monroe moment and just really make me clutch my pearls. Can I throw any more American idioms all within one specific catchphrase? This is the Montana Knife Company Blackfoot Magna Cut Orange and Black. And this is a reason to have a one and done fixed blade knife in your collection. I had never heard of Montana Knife Company. I think someone brought it up to me a few months ago during a live stream. Hey, X, check out the Montana Knife Company. And I checked it out and I thought it was interesting. I bookmarked their page. I signed up for their emails. I was very interested in a lot of the functionality that their knives seem to offer. So in my world, I do a lot of regular day EDC stuff, opening packages, doing stuff around the house, opening toys, breaking down boxes. But I have a small backcountry type of life, especially in the fall and winter. Opening weekend for buck, for rifle started here in Texas on November 4th. And I have a kill kit. And a part of that kit, I need blades which are versatile, reliable, well-crafted, and they themselves can be a very good tool. So I found myself mostly carrying knives by Benchmade and Tops Knives, but I didn't find one knife that worked for both. I had the Benchmade Bushcrafter, good knife, but it couldn't do everything. Had Tops Knives Filet, good knife, but it can't do everything. This is kind of one of those in-between knives that allows for me to carry something on my hip, in my kill kit, in an everyday carry type of knife. First off, let's talk about the knife itself. This is the Montana Knife Company Blackfoot 2.0. It's a knife designed by a fella named Josh Smith, according to the box here. I've never heard of you, Josh Smith, but you seem to come up with a banger when it comes to this overall. I'll link down below any information about this and the designer and where you can pick one of these up if you want to find out more about it. Basically, they really target this towards everyday carry type of uses, but they definitely want you to be able to use it in the backcountry and hunting and for anything like that as well. The Blackfoot 2.0 features a meticulously shaped blade, drop point style blade, which is made of a high quality carbon steel. In this case, it is a Magna Cut type of steel, and surprisingly, this thing is very easy to sharpen. We'll talk about more on that on the pro section. It has G10 scales on this, and the G10 scales themselves have a little bit of resin in it, which makes it less likely that you will actually drop this knife when you're holding it. And if you were to get, have blood all over it or anything similar to that, it decreases the likelihood that you could actually allow this thing to slip out your hand. It being a drop point, making it very suitable for like detail work, which is kind of that sweet spot when you're going to be doing stuff for everyday carry and stuff for possible backcountry. It does have a full tang. It's a full tang fixed blade knife, which obviously you're not going to be folding this thing up and putting it in your pocket. I mean, you probably could fit it in your pocket, but the design of a full tang construction means it's supposed to have an extended handle, extended use, and be able to have a harder use case than your typical folding pocket knife that you would put on your everyday carry. The blade itself has a parkerized finish, which allows for corrosion resistance. So it's going to be more resistant if you keep it out in the elements. It's less likely to have a lot of corrosion and rust and etc. This thing weighs 4.7 ounces, which is not heavy at all. The Kydex sheath that comes along with it is an additional 2 ounces. So you got a full carry on your hip for a little bit south of 7 ounces, which is pretty reasonable. So let's just keep it real. This knife is around $300. So this is what you call a buy once, cry once type of knife, which we'll talk about whether it's worth it or not. All right, so let's start off with the things I don't like about the knife before I just freaking glaze all over this thing for the rest of the video. I'm not a big fan of mirrored finish knives. I'm okay with this one so far, but my experience is that snail trails, dirt, grime, that stuff is like super prevalent until you have a chance to clean the knife again. So I've cleaned this thing up for this video, but I'll put some B-roll on what this thing looks like through everyday usage. And if you don't have cleaning agents, some knife oil, a microfiber cloth with you, it's kind of, it kind of sucks. I would prefer to have a stone wash finish on a blade just because it hides dirt and snail trails a little bit better. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with this one particularly, but I'm not a big fan of that. Cleaning the blade itself feels super dangerous. I know how to clean a blade and to wipe away and wipe down away from all that good stuff, but because this thing is so sharp, you get very nervous when it's actually time to clean this blade off. So the Kydex sheath itself does have like a little bit of reversibility to it. So if you move around these screws, then this can go from a belt carry or a hip carry to going into your pocket. But I will say that this is designed for you to slip a belt right through it. A lot of times I'm wearing trousers or joggers or items that don't have an actual belt to it, and I don't want to go through the headache of trying to slip this over the trousers themselves, because this thing is kind of hard to do sometimes. Another thing is my Kydex sheath is beginning to snap in half right there. So if we look at it next to its brothering here, which is the Speed Goat Magna Cut in black, that Kydex sheath is fully together, but it also looks like it might begin to bend and break. So is the sheath designed to have that little relief cut in it? I do believe so, but my relief cut looks like it's beginning to expand. Maybe I'm tripping. I am concerned that that could eventually split and break, and I don't want that to happen overall. Full disclosure, Montana Knife Company sent this knife out to me for free. They also sent the knife that I'm going to be giving away out for free. So I didn't spend that nut on this actual knife. Now let's go to the glaze section of this video, where we just talk about the knife and we give it its roses and flowers. The pros. First off, this thing is sexy AF. I talked about I don't like the mirror finish for cleaning purposes, and it doesn't hide snail trails and dirt very well. But when you get a look at this thing, oh my God, this thing is so sexy. The scales look beautiful. I love the subtle branding with just simply having the state of Montana on the actual blade itself with MKC inside. It's USA made, which I'm a big fan of. The Kydex sheath has this snappy feel to it, and it's easy to use. It has this craftsmanship and reliability that you just can't duplicate. I love the fact that the scales don't slip out your hand when you have like blood all over yourself, or if your hands are cold, or you're trying to fidget, or if you're wearing gloves. I've done all these things already. This does not slip out your hand. It is extremely sharp. I purposely sharpened the blade just to see how easy it would be to sharpen, because I've been using this thing consistently for almost a month and a half now. But even when I sharpened it, just so I can give my experience with it, it was still buttery sharp. This is so sharp out the box. It's so sharp. It maintains an edge incredibly well. They did such a good job with the actual craftsmanship of this edge out the box from the factory floor that you will not have to sharpen this very often. And when you do, the sharpening experience is fantastic, mostly because it's just so easy to access the entire cutting edge of this knife. Whatever sharpening method that you're using, if you're using a work sharp, or if you're using some stones, or if you're doing it by hand or whatever. So it's ergonomics, the blade shape, the edge retention, its reliability. This is a super easy choice for those that demand a high performing knife, as long as you're okay with that price. I would say assess your needs. Think about, what are you gonna need a fixed blade knife for? Don't buy this purely on looks. I mean, if you want to buy it purely on looks and you got tons of money, affiliate link down below, go ahead and make that purchase. But if you're really trying to decide, does this purchase make sense for my pocket, this is something that I want you to consider. It is ergonomic friendly. It is easy to sharpen. It is USA made. I mean, this thing maintains an edge very well. When I began to break down an animal this opening weekend, and I didn't use it for the full breakdown process, but I did use it for cutting out the actual bladder and the rectum of the animal, and to begin that initial breakdown of tearing off the skin. It did well with that. Another thing is because I like to do a lot of silly stuff with my knives, the way that this thing is built, it does allow for prying and twisting, which you really shouldn't be doing with your EDC knives. But this is a forgiving knife. If you're trying to pry something apart while cutting, because for whatever reason you can't get a clean cut, it would be better with a serrated blade, whatever. This allows for those type of tricky maneuvers, processing animals or processing meat, such as if you're trying to cut the back out of a chicken before you cook it, if you're trying to wedge apart two pieces of frozen turkey or something like that, this can get that done without damaging the blade. I've done it and I had a good time using this thing in the kitchen as well. I love the different mounting options of the sheath. Of course, if you want to mount this on your belt, which is the easiest thing, you can do that, but you can move it all these different holes. If you want to put it in your pocket, if you're some type of renegade like that, it's not bad. It's so comparable to a fixed blade knife when it's fully open. This is the Benchmade bug out, and fully open, the Benchmade bug out is basically the same size as this blade here, except you get that full tang goodness. Of course, it's more convenient to have the bug out. So this would be my one and done knife that could replace all of these fixed blade knives. As much as I love these knives, but if you know you're going to be going out there more often than not, the MKC might be for you. All right, as I mentioned before, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, and I post on my community tab, and I like to answer questions you guys might have. And I had some questions about this one. First one is from Steven, or from Steve. He says, when you purchase a knife around this price point, is a warranty, generational guarantee a factor for you, or do you mostly focus on the construction materials usability with the warranty being extra bonus? So his question is when you make this purchase and you get that lifetime warranty, they do a generational guarantee, meaning they don't warranty the person, they warranty the knife. And even if they come out with a 3.0, meaning that this is no longer in production, like a lot of companies will say, you have a lifetime warranty as long as we produce that knife. Well, as soon as 3.0 comes out, they're not producing it anymore. So the warranty's over. They warranty the knife. As much as I love the materials, I think the warranty weighs out a little bit more for me. What knife would you choose if you only had one survival knife, says External Adventures? So if I only could have one, it really would be between, I guess he said survival knife. If I could only choose one, it had to be a survival knife. I would probably lean towards the Benchmade Bushcrafter, or I would lean towards this MKC. It's a hard choice. I like the blade real estate of the Benchmade. I mean, look how much thicker the blade steel is, and you just get so much more of that goodness on there. It's not as slicey as the actual MKC, but if you had to pin me into a corner, it would probably be this Benchmade Bushcrafter because of how much more I think I could beat on it and it not break. And it comes with this sheath where you can put a little ferro rod on and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, I would probably go with the Benchmade. How is the sheath? Does it allow different carry options, says Brandon? Yeah, the sheath is fine. I do have a little concern about this. I don't know if this is a relief cut, like I said, in the sheath, or if it's a issue with the sheath itself and it's beginning to crack. Hopefully MKC can let me know if that is a relief cut. Neil Francisco says, is the price justified? So I've done some research. Other Magna Cut, these full flat grinds, drop point type blade, made in America, small batches at a time with this type of material, they're all around the same price, around between $250 and $400. I don't know what we expect for small batch knives, full tang, Magna Cut, high carbon steel. The word worth it means what's worth it to you. It may not be worth it to you. I like to use the terminology, is the price fair and reasonable? It's fair and reasonable because if you compare it to competitors that are either doing large scale production, they're cheaper. Small batch, they are around the same price. This company, I think they're in that arena where they can almost scale up to full scale production, but they're still pumping out small batches. Their price is right there in the middle. I don't see where they're just outrageously priced. They're not, way up there. This is what the actual Speedgoat Magna Cut looks like. And this one looks just as nice if it's freaking big brother here. I haven't used this knife at all. I'm not going to use it because we're going to give this away. They seem to use about the same amount of, about the same amount of steel when it comes to thickness, but the Speedgoat is definitely longer. Even if we were to kind of line them up, the Speedgoat is a little bit taller, a little bit more blade, so it's a little bit more exposed blade on the Speedgoat. But you can even tell how mine has been used and cleaned. The mirror finish just a little bit different than the Speedgoat. This feels pretty good in the hand too. It is weird to have knives that have paracord scales to them. You can always take this off and use it in an emergency situation and then replace it and change the color out or whatever. That always felt weird to me. It felt really Rambo-like. And if that's the type of stuff that you're down with, then that's what you're going to get. We're going to give this away though. So this is going to be folks that are to win this thing. There's a few things that you have to be. This is going to be given away for a members only live stream. So my channel members, make sure you guys listen up. Before the end of this month, we will have a members only stream. You don't need to be there, but we will give away the MKC Speed Coat Magna Cut. It's going to be a good time, man. We're going to get this thing out to you guys. There's nothing you need to do to be eligible for this. I want to say thank you to my channel members by giving back. If you're interested in joining my memberships, just click there should be a button down below that says join. You can join at any membership level. You'll be a possibility of winning this thing. And so I just really wanted to say thanks to the folks that support this channel monthly through memberships and live streams and all that good stuff. I think you would enjoy this. I'm not going to do a review on this knife because I haven't used it, but I'm pretty sure my review would be very similar to the MKC, except for the scales for the actual Blackfoot are completely different, but a lot of the other language will probably be the same when it comes to the Bigo. Comment down below, is this a knife that you would spend your money on? My recommendation is that this is a full go on the moist meter. This is a full go. This is a buy once, cry once type of knife. It is a little bit pricey off the rip, but once you just make the purchase, you get this thing on the hip, I think you will enjoy it. If you are interested in it, I will leave links down below with the most updated pricing. They're probably going to have some specials soon, hopefully, and I will even try to get you guys a discount code. So check out the links down below for the most updated pricing. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me running my grape. A lot of places you could have went, a lot of places you could be, but you are here with your boy, and I appreciate that. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.